Hi guys, Jamie here from A Riot, and I'm here with Mike from Me Without You.
Hello.
So welcome back to the UK. It's your second time here this year.
That's
after
right.
after a 10-year absence.
Was it that long? It was a long time.
It was the brand new tour, right?
It was a long time. It was a long overdue return, and it was really, really great to come back, and we're trying to make it more of a regular thing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Is it in part because of the release of Pale Horses, like Big Scary Monsters? The label released it here in the UK. Is that something to do with it?
Yeah, I think whenever you're met with, energy and sort of excitement, and great people come to you and say, we want to work with you, with what you do, it kind of makes you step up your game and want to meet them where they are, and we're trying to do more to help them help us. So obviously we gotta get ourselves over here. Yeah.
It helps that Pale Horses is a great album as well.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Not at all. Is that kind of similar to what happened in the States with Run for Cover? Because you guys, you released 10 stories yourself.
Yeah.
And then Pale Horse obviously came out in the States on Run for Cover. Did a similar kind of thing happen?
I think we weighed our options, and we decided that we didn't really get the most out of our efforts when we did it ourselves. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of work getting put on few people, and mainly our manager. And we thought, let's bring in a label that has an entire infrastructure built into what they do, and they have a budget for marketing, and they have all these things that we didn't have last time. And we all thought, let's just do ourselves a solid and partner up with a great label, and we made the right decision. So
I love pretty much all the Run for Cover roster. It's great. And then I've been a fan of Me Without You for ages, and when you signed, I was like, that fits. Fits well.
Yeah.
So you played Arctangent Festival this weekend, as well as touring with Coheed at the minute. How was Arctangent?
It was the kind of thing that we wondered, why haven't we done this sooner? It just seemed like a place that we fit into in a certain way. Not to say that we're a virtuoso kind of like mathy band, like proggy and all that. But all that aside, I think that was a festival that I think was a little bit more our speed, just in the fact that it's a little off the cuff and a little different than your your Warped Tours and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar tour as well with Coheed, because they're a really big band, but again they're kind of proggy and off the wall and La Dispute as well.
Yeah,
great bands.
I think we are counting on that sort of open-mindedness that I think that their fans have in general. Anytime we've played with Coheed and Cambria, their fans have been fantastic to us. So we are always honored whenever we are invited to come and tour with them. Mm-hmm. So this is really wonderful.
And they've probably been going a similar amount of time to you guys as well.
Yeah. They've been doing it for probably the same. Yeah.
So Pale Horses kind of feels like a bit of a mix of all your previous albums. It kind of seems like a culmination of your sound. Okay. Was there kind of a different writing process that went into it as the other albums, or is it just a progression?
Well, we had a guitarist officially join the band, Brandon Beaver, whereas this was his first album as like a full-on co-writer. That was different. He did write with us on a few songs on 10 Stories, but I don't know. I would say, for my part, the record was meant to be a little bit more guitar, like electric guitar driven, like a little bit more the genesis of the sound sort of was to be more heavy guitars and let the songs sort of focus on getting Ricky in a place where he could do what he does best. And at the end of the day, we just made another Me Without You record. Honestly, you're always going to have some of the same elements, across the board. A lot of energetic, like shouting vocals, a lot of really intense lyrics, a lot of layers that you have to kind of sift through. And I think we accomplished all those things.
Yeah, I think the fact the albums are so kind of complex means that you can come back to them 10 years later. I still listen to Brother Sister all the time. That album's 10 years old this year, which is crazy. Makes me feel old. So can't imagine what it feels like for you guys.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider doing an anniversary tour or anything like that? Because you've got so many albums now. It's which one would you do it for?
We have 6 now. I mean, I guess the next one would have to be It's All Crazy, 2 years from now or something like that. I don't know, which is not very plausible as a 10-year tour. I don't think. Yeah. Being that that's probably one of the most fringy sort of outside of the the core of what we are. Mm-hmm. I think that record is a little bit more experimental than the rest. So I don't know, probably not. I mean, I have no idea. I'm open to whatever though.
Is that what you kind of meant by going back to driven by electric guitars and heavy guitars? Because Catch for the Foxes was quite folky in a way.
Catch for the Foxes?
No, sorry. It's All Crazy.
It's All Crazy was a lot of singer-songwriter songs that were sort of fleshed out with the band sort of after the fact. Mm-hmm. We utilized a lot of various instruments and a lot of arrangements that were that are reminiscent of, I don't know, what you'd hear in a cartoon or something. At least in my opinion. Not to put it down. I'm not so sure that was what we set out to do when we started the band. Right. It was sort of something that we got to a certain point and we sort of didn't really think too much about it. I think that's where we were at the time. And it just, we had no inhibitions. Whereas Pale Horses, I was all about keeping things to task. 2 electric guitars, drums, bass, vocals. Yeah. Let's just turn it up and play it.
I think I read in an interview as well that Aaron said that you guys, the rest of the band, said to him to kind of go back to more of a first-person narrative rather than the kind of objective stories that he was telling on 10 stories.
Generally speaking, we don't tell Aaron, we want you to do this and this. He does what he wants to do. And it turned out much to my satisfaction that Pale Horses had a lot of first person, whether it was Aaron personally as the voice of the speaker in the song or not. A lot of times singers will write songs from a different perspective, but be in first person. I think people connect to music that way a lot more than the narrative sort of storytelling kind of way to sing, to write songs. And I was happy to hear that his persona, that Aaron was brought back, his personality, the thing that makes him special, came through in the music a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's songs like D minor, which is kind of like a sequel to C minor on Brother Sister and stuff like that. It's more personal driven songs.
Yeah, totally. That one definitely is. I can tell you, there's all kinds of elements from Aaron's actual like life experiences that are brought to that track.
You guys kind of play a different set every time I see you. Like I've seen you 3 times this year. It's been a different one every time, which is great because sometimes you don't get to see your favorite songs, and like tonight you played Wolf of Mine. I've not heard you play that before, and that's probably my favorite song, so that was
cool.
great.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Do you guys like to mix it up so that no 2 sets are you don't replicate anything? Rather?
Yeah, I think we just leave it up to Rick, our drummer, to write the set every night.
Right.
And we trust him because he naturally has a tendency to want to keep our experience on stage as fresh as possible. And we definitely sacrifice a certain amount of, I guess you could say, like, I don't know, smoothness or sort of, you know, not professionalism per se, but I've seen bands we've toured with that play the same exact set every single night, and they have no problems. They just know everything like the back of their hand, and it sounds flawless, and that's very good, you know, for those things. We don't have those kinds of shows. Normally our shows are a little like, oh, let's see what happens tonight, you know. But I think that's what keeps this experience interesting, and I think we enjoy the idea, at least, that people are coming to several shows, you know, and like want to hear a different set, and we try to keep track of what we played. Like the last time we were in a city, we'll have like a little I think, you know, we'll reference like some sort of like, I don't know, we could take a picture of the set list so we know, like we can look back and we'll switch it up. We have so many songs. It's just like,
well, I remember seeing like a few years ago when you were on tour, seeing all the pictures of the set list from America. And I was like, I wish I was at that show.
And people are just, and it's true, like when we post pictures of the set list and we get people talking about it, and it's just a way to engage people with what we do, like beyond the show. So yeah.
Does he ever throw in a song that you're just like, oh, I don't know about that one?
Sure. Oh, of course. I think there's going to be questionable moves that get made, but on the whole, I think it's one of the smoother kind of things that our band does. It's just, we all kind of agree that Ricky can do it, and Ricky does a good job, and just let it be like that. You know, bad sets and all, it's okay. But usually it's really good, you know. Yeah.
It's been good every time I've seen you. So how is the bus?
The bus is in the middle of the renovation process. We have a new bus, obviously. It's much newer than the old bus. It's got a lot more space than the last bus. It's wider, it's taller, it's all gutted out. We got all the seats removed. We got everything stripped down to just basically a shell. At the moment, we've been working on making the bunks and getting ready for our tour in the fall. So we'll be posting pictures as things develop, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful bus.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you've got a few dates left in the UK, and then you go on tour in America with Into It Over It. Is that right? And then are you doing a few headline dates as well? Or?
That's all headlining. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then what's after that? Sorry.
Well, we've got some stuff coming up in the new year that's been booked, not announced yet. So I won't get into the specifics.
Yeah.
So we're staying busy. We've got a lot on our plate, and we're happy.
Is it another tour or a new album? You got that far?
It's another tour. Yeah.
Any plans for the 7th album? I guess it'll be now.
You know, we've been talking about writing new music and getting together when we have time between touring and sort of working on the bus. And in the meantime, we've all been sort of working on our own, coming up with song ideas, and we're gonna see what's there. I don't think that there should ever be sort of an assumption right off the bat that any band, just because they're still a band, needs to make a record, which is no different for us. And I feel as if there is music that's exciting to us and that we think is gonna be something that we want to go forward with, then we'll go forward with it 100%. So we're I have a lot of confidence that we're gonna find something great, and we've all sort of come through in the past, but yeah, we want to see what we have and go from there.
Do you guys kind of incorporate like newer influences, like new bands that crop up as you kind of go through? Because you've been like, your first album is 2002, 4, something like
2002.
that. 2002, yeah. So
well, we did an LP 2002. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, we don't just live in a bubble. I mean, there's so much great music out there, so many things that spark your interest as a guitarist or whatever. I'm not gonna be pretentious and silly and try to say that I just get inspired from fashion and like movies and things, but of course other bands turn me on. Like, they get my mind sort of lit up, and I pick up my guitar, and then it goes from there,
Especially being somewhere like Philly, where there's so many great bands.
There are so many great bands.
Any bands in particular, any new bands you want to shed a light on?
I mean, I'm sure everybody knows about Balance and Composure, and like,
can't wait for their new album.
Tiger's Jaw, and like we just did a tour with Menzingers. They're a band from Philly. We're really good friends with guys in Dr. Dog, who, if you haven't heard of that band, you better get yourself from underneath the rock that you live under. So we're really fortunate to be in a environment that, like these bands that are in your hometown are doing these amazing things. And Title Fight, I think they're from Pennsylvania somewhere. It's hard not to think to yourself, man, all right, get off your ass and you know what I mean, do your part, you know what I mean. Yeah. It
must be cool to have kind of a celebrity fan, I guess, in Hayley Williams as well, who appeared on one of your albums.
Oh yeah, she's great. Hayley is a friend of ours. That she's a celebrity, and at the same time, she's a very just sweet person that happens to like our band, and we're just very fortunate that she's agreed to sing on our albums. She's tweeted about us. She's Paramore has invited us on tours, and I mean, they've been just wonderful people to us. Yeah,
it's cool because I like Paramore. Like, I remember when their first album came out, and I was really excited about it. And then she started tweeting about Me Without You. It's like, that's a strange connection, but it's cool because I like both those bands.
Yeah. Taylor is awesome. We get together and chat about all kinds of stuff anytime we play together, and that's one of the great things about being in this band is like the people you get to meet along the way are just it's just amazing. Yeah. Cool.
That was really cool. That was really interesting. Thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
And, thanks for coming back to the UK after so long.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
cool. Cheers, man.